Hi guys, how are you doing? This is Madhvi from TaroticallySpeaking.com, and today I'm I'm gonna be recording this video about Two of Wands, which is Mars in Aries, right? That's the very first decan of Aries. So I've got all my cards. I'm sure you must be seeing on the edges of the screen, like some of the things. So I'm just, one by one, we're gonna tackle this in a very systematic manner. Okay, don't worry, I will make this easy and simple as best as I can, right? So let's start by, because this is astrology through the lens of tarot, we will start with the astrology and then see how it shows up in the tarot. So, number one, we are going to look at Mars in Aries. Let's look at our, I hope you can see the cards properly. This is the card for Mars from the Star Codes Astro deck that I showed in the earlier video. And if you see my hand here going here, my computer is right there. So a couple of the books are in my Kindle, and that's what I'm sort of referring here. Okay, so this is the card that talks about Mars, and we can see again in the image we have the sort of red planet in the background. We also have these hands with the sword, like Mars is the god of war. It is a masculine planet, that's a symbol of Mars there. And essentially, it talks about our physical energy, our style of sort of, going about it, our ambition, our aggression. It's where you have that sort of passion, that drive to sort of just go for what you want. That is the energy of Mars, right? And then we are let's see, so Mars can, on a positive side, it can give you a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and it sort of drives you to get to where you want to go, to accomplish something, right? But at the same time, the negative side, obviously, like I said, it's the god of war. So Mars is all about, on the negative side, or if that aggression or that energy goes a little bit too far, it becomes war. Like it's all about, finding, wanting everything. It's all about being a bully. It's all about sort of being pushy. It's all about dominating. Okay, and that is the whole energy of Mars on the negative side of the spectrum, right? Now, let's look at Aries. Okay, so now Aries is ruled by Mars. So this is interesting. When we say Mars in Aries, we're going to see, a situation where the ruling planet of that sign sits in that sign, which can make it, very, very interesting, right? And Aries is symbolized by the ram, which you can see here. It is a fire sign, which you see this upward pointing triangle here. Keyword here is act, which is very interesting because this is, and for Mars they've given motion, which is interesting. I would give different keywords, I suppose. Aries is more about, like, just begin, run, and this is more like act, but whatever. Aries is very energetic, aggressive, and enthusiastic. Now, because again, ruling planet, it kind of takes on those attributes, right? It has that vibe. And Aries is actually all about going and accomplishing, it's about setting out. You see, again, you have to realize this is the very first sign of the zodiac. So in that sense, it takes on the whole vibe of beginnings. It's about, yeah, I'm going to charging right out of the gate. And that's why it's the symbol of the ram even. And it's all about just like, I'm going to just go butt heads. Now, this Mars energy in this Aries sign can really help, right? Because it gives it the energy to just go and charge and butt heads. And sometimes it's necessary to do that if you want to sort of break through something or get past something, or even barriers or whatever the limitations are. So that is very interesting. In terms of personality, again, this is a person who can be very, very exciting to be with. And it's just someone who wants to accomplish whatever they set out to accomplish. Now this book here, that I'm looking at, the stars within you, this has the myth associated with Aries is the story of Phrixus and Hele, the children of King Athamas. And their stepmother Ino, she kind of hated them, so she wanted to kill them. But right before that, the whole murder thing, the magical ram flies in to save them, and that's sent by their natural mother, or the biological mother, called Nephele. So so the ram comes and saves the children and all that. So there's that story, and then as a reward, Zeus places him in the heavens. So this is the sort of story. So again, ultimately, this magical ram is supposed to save someone from harm. That's kind of their mystical purpose in a certain way, if you see it that way. But yeah, so if you now see the energies, this is the energy of action and charging and sort of pushing through. And this sign also carries that vibe of someone who wants to sort of set out and just go after what they want and accomplish what they want. So now, if we put it together, we also see there is a very interesting vibe with Mars and Aries from an astrological point of view. Like if you put 1 plus 1 together like that, the two that we form, interesting, the number 2 we get here, it is of Mars and Aries, where essentially we have people who are very enthusiastic, or the energy of this combination is someone who wants to take all necessary action so that they can push forward and go accomplish what they want to accomplish. And it's all about getting to what they want to accomplish. There's fire and fire. There's a lot of passion here. There is a lot of energy here. There is all about taking action and going for it. Okay. Now there is this card here. This is the card from the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. This is your Mars in Aries, and the keyword they have put here is impulsiveness, which is very, very interesting again. And let's see what their book says. Mars is the planet of assertion and drive. It helps define our motivation. And let's see, what does it say about Aries? Aries, in its most positive sense, initiates activities bringing an atmosphere of freshness and newness or renewal into the area in which it has influence. It has a pioneering energy, right? Because it's the first, and it is courageous and bold, making decisions instantly and without fear for the consequences. So there is that energy. It's fearless, right? And impulsive, often reckless, egotistical, impulsive, impatient, aggressive, lacking in subtlety, right? Because again, it's fresh and new. The subtlety will come later, right? Like as life happens, if you see it that way. And then the little booklet, what it says about Mars in Aries, right? It says Mars, the keyword is action, and for Aries, the keyword is self-will. And together, this describes people who are energetic and impulsive in every action. They feel a need to get things done, and this leads them to start numerous new projects. Acting before thinking inevitably leads to disasters, but these Martians are resilient, and wins always predominate over losses. So you could see wins and losses here, but wins are more that kind of a thing. But that kind of makes sense, right? Like, because you're going to push through recklessly without really thinking twice. But they're lucky. I think that's where that lucky horseshoe comes in that image here. They are natural leaders. They are very outgoing, and they are comfortable with group endeavors, right? What else does this book say? They take great pride in their abilities. They are not happy unless they do more and quicker than anyone else. There is a belligerence in the Mars Aries nature that can go over the top, and these characters may ride roughshod over other people. So there's that bullying, aggressive vibe, right? And yeah, it's essentially they're very competitive. So that's a vibe, right? So they can be reckless and impulsive, they can be quite competitive. So this is like from the astrology decks, the information that I'm picking up about this combination. Now, remember I also said there is something called a book called the Picatrix, and for each decan they have assigned an image, right? So let me just bring up that little booklet. I found it in that little booklet where, and I'm going to read out of that booklet really. Where's Aries? Yeah. Okay. Image of a large and distinguished black madman with red eyes and an axe in his hand. A white rope wrapped around his waist. Okay, so this is the image. He's angry. He has an axe in his hand, and he has got a white rope. Instead of rope, I think they've just put cloth, but yeah, wrapped around his waist. So this is how this image is. This is the first decan. So again, this kind of matches the vibe, right? We have someone who has a lot of anger, who has a lot of Mars energy, and they are ready to sort of go for it. And just they're recklessly kind of chasing whatever they're chasing. So there is that vibe. Okay, let me put this aside. Now let's talk about the card itself. Or oh wait, yeah, let's look at the tarot cards. So first and foremost, let's look at our Tower. This is the card in the Rider-Waite deck, which is all about the Mars energy. Now we know Mars as very action oriented and all of that, and passionately going after something. But the image in the tarot again here for Mars is all about destruction. But you do see this little lightning bolt that comes from the sky and sort of hits something. So you can probably say, okay, this is the action angle of it, right? Things just coming and sort of going, and boom, right? They're just going, and this is the structure that is being broken. There is that Mars energy of destruction, right? You do see a similar vibe in the Marseille tarot as well, right? You see nice, but it's a little bit less I don't know if it's less violent, but this is the lightning bolt coming in and the crown falling, and we have these two people falling just like in this one, and these instead of these yards we have these colorful little polka dots, I guess, but it's got that similar vibe, right? It also says La Maison Dieu, which means this is the house of God. La Maison is a house, Dieu is God, the house of God. This is the Tower of God. They often liken it with the Babel Tower, right? Which was destroyed in order to disperse the people who were building it. Now I have this big thought deck, so I said, why not use it? Again, we do see that same destruction here, the big red eye, right? We do see this tower collapsing. We see this little fire coming out. There is a lot of imagery here which I don't want to get into, but we also see now. I also ended up getting this deck called the Telos Tarot, and because I don't know, I like it. It's great. So it has a similar imagery. I'm going to read a little bit from the booklet, if you don't mind. Telos Tarot. Okay. The Tower. There we go. A tower struck by forked lightning, human figures thrown thence, suggests the letter iron by their attitude. Okay, so we have a whole, the Kabbalah references. So shocking development, destruction, storm, stress, quarrels, warfare, necessary breakdown of things that have outlived their usefulness, dispelling of illusions, and enlightenment. Okay, so this is interesting. There's a whole bunch of symbolism here, but again, this is more very thought school. So you can find, if you're studying the thought, you'll find very similar imagery here. Like you see the snake here, and you have the falling people, and then you have this dragon coming out, and he's Yeah, you see this Mars symbol here, very interesting. This eye, yeah, similarities are there. Nevertheless, essentially we see through this the tarot cards, when they are talking about the Mars energy, they are basically talking about the very destructive nature of Mars energy. And depending on how it falls, this destructive nature can be positive and negative. Both sides can happen, which is pretty intense. Okay. Then let's look at the Aries cards, because that's fun. Now, here the Aries cards are your Emperor card, right? And Emperor in the tarot, again, is an old man, but he wears red. And you see these symbols of the ram on that throne of his. And again, it's all red and orange around him. Maybe a little tiny river at the bottom. So there's not much emotional content in his story. He's old, and look at him, he's wearing his armor. So he's already always fighting, fighting, fighting. He's fought his way to the top. He's become the emperor. And he's now creating the necessary structure that he needs to create to sort of, protect and safeguard that empire. And you see that similar imagery here in the Emperor card from the Marseille tarot as well. Here, that eagle is again a representation of that, energy of rulership. Okay. And of course, your fourth emperor. Interestingly, you see this pose, the way they sit with the legs, they create like a four. You see a similar pose here, you see a similar pose even in the Telos tarot deck. You see that emperor, you see that shield with the eagles, right? You see the rams. There's a ram here also, right? You see all the same interesting imagery. You see them holding the scepter and that orb, which this orb represents again. This is interesting that the orb comes here and here. And what about this guy? So the orb, very interestingly, is a representation of the earth, right? Like it's like I'm protecting the earth. And so remember this imagery, because you will see this show up in your Two of Wands. Now we have Mars in Aries, right? So this is your Mars in Aries. Now, the question that or rather the challenge that we've set ourselves is to see where does this Mars in Aries energy show up, right? Now, we saw here and here that we have, this is an impulsive, angry energy. This is like someone who's just going to charge at something. Now, he stands here on top of this, on the roof of that building that he has, and he's got that globe in his hand like that emperor, so that there's that similarity from the emperor coming in. But now he's like, okay, I want to just charge ahead and go do this. Is he planning making plans for world domination, or if does he have like a small business that he wants to go global? There could be all sorts of, this is an image, so you can make all sorts of interpretations of it. But we do see that energy of Mars wanting to take action, right? This is all about wanting to take action. This is all about, and then the Aries energy of domination and ruling, right? Coming from the emperor. So we do see that his desires are plenty obvious. The number 2, again, very interesting. 2 in numerology is all about duality. It's about cooperation. It's about connections. It's about partnership. It's about, either or. It's about choices, right? And when that energy is coming into play, he has a lot of different plannings and choices to make. Now, because again, I don't see this energy, right? Like I'm riding into the battle energy here. Here I get a sense of more like, okay, I'm planning for my world domination thing. So there's a more planning vibe than an action vibe here, but definitely it's implied, it's there, right? You see this Two of Wands from your Marseille tarot here, and that is in another interesting vibe. Now in the Marseille tarot, you see how these wands form the X. This red is the color of passion. The very light blue is the color of spirituality. These leaves are again sources of nourishment, and even the leaves and the branches, that's like how the connections are formed. And flowers, your flowering fruits, so there's a lot of that very intricate symbolism. But if you see these wands going crisscross against, this could talk about being at the crossroads. This could talk about a junction or option, like then now there are options. We have two different ways we can go, or many other, more than two ways that open up, and you have to now choose which way to go. We are talking about, on the flip side, this could be, blocking someone by just blocking them. So there's different meanings within the Marseille way of doing readings. You look at the elemental dignities and whatnot around it to decide which way this meaning is going to tilt. But yeah, you also see these flowers are starting to bloom already a little bit. So again, if you see this Two of Wands reverse, this could be like, hey, your plans are blocked, you can't proceed, and so forth. That like you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to, or maybe your energy is lacking, your passion is lacking. So the reverse cards can also add value based on this meaning that is coming from the astrology side of it. And if we look at the thought card, this is interesting too, because now we see these two, what are they called? I believe they're called Vajras in the book that comes with it. But these are again two different wands. These are sources of power. The Vajras are powerful energy. That's your Mars, that's your Aries, and they are at again similar crossing at each other. So there is that willingness to sort of charge through. There is that desire to conquer. It's about forging ahead. So, and then you see this is interesting. I like the Telos deck because again, now you see the Decan image, right? A man with the axe and, the white cloth, and he's gonna, charging ahead. And you do also see the two wands here crisscrossing. And you see the Aries energy. And I like that. I like how she's kind of, brought it all together here. It's very interesting. I like it. So I'm going to be using this deck too, I guess. That's if it wasn't clear by now, I guess it is. So this is interesting. So you see how this energy has come into play, and we do see how that astrology meaning is showing up here in our cards, in the Two of Wands of sort of all these, the Rider-Waite, Marseille, Thought, and this is Thought adjacent. So yeah, I'm gonna club it with the Thought, right? Charge through, go for it, take action. That is the meaning, really, and you see this here. And yeah, it's also the beginnings, because now he's going to start a new journey of something, right? The new phase of something. He's growing. He's already in a good place, and now he's going to grow to the next level, taking things to the next level. So yeah, that's the new journey here, right? There's that vibe. So Two of Wands, Mars and Aries, charging through, yeah, going for it. Now, if you remember that little presentation I did, in the very first video, obviously there are other cards that are associated with this, and I will briefly sort of touch upon them, right? So the bigger layer is of the season, which is actually the Ace of Pentacles, according to the chart that we saw, right? And this is the season, I believe, spring in the northern hemisphere. So it's going to be autumn in the southern hemisphere, right? So spring, you do see that energy here with the pentacles. Interestingly, I think pentacles are associated with winter in the season thing, but we have this Ace of Pentacles vibe here, right? So Ace of Pentacles somehow has gotten associated with this time. we see this hand emerging with this coin in hand, and so it's like, again, this is a beginning. Aces are always beginning, so there is that beginning energy that we can see here with, it comes with the Aries vibe, right? You do see over here also we have a coin, we have the coin here as well, so there is a beautiful beginning vibe, like something powerful. So if you are, for that sort of journey that you wish to take, that new adventure you wish to sort of embark upon with Mars and Aries, if you're in need of resources, they are being made available to you, is how I would see it, right? You also have your pages that go with your aces here. So again, we do see the same similar vibe. These pages also interestingly carry that coin in their hand, which is nice. So we have that. These pages are also beginnings, which is why I think that's why they have been associated with the aces as well. And pages bring that fresh new energy into the story. So while aces could be, aces are the root of the powers of that, element. This could be a person representing that energy or bringing that energy into the mix, right? So the thought decks will call them princesses, right? So this is the Princess of Discs, Earth of Earth. The Marseille deck calls them valet, right? This one is the page. So again, the genders are very interestingly, what they are, and you can go read my article about the male and female genders, and how they are represented in the tarot, and what I feel they stand for, right? But regardless of that, this is a beginning energy, and look at how powerfully they are ready to go. Another card, a court card, which also sort of covers this space, the Two of Wands space, is your Queen of Wands. And this right here is a nice fire energy card. Yeah, she is fire of water, or sorry, water of fire, my bad. Fire and water together, right? Water is because she's the queen, that's why water. And wands, so fire, right? And look at her. Her posture, very interestingly, is not a very demure, you can see this from the way her legs are, like that. It's a very typical way to show that this is a woman who is not gonna sit quietly. She's gonna charge right ahead. She's the wands queen. She's gonna charge and she's gonna do it. She's wands, so she's warm. With all these, see the cat here. We don't have a cat here, interestingly, but we do have these nice sort of leopards or cheetahs. I don't know which, but these cats here. They bring that very feline grace into the picture, right? And that's beautiful, I think, because there is intuition, there is that cat-like, energy there, which gives that very energetic sort of flexibility necessary to the story. Now, you put it all together, what I kind of see here is that these court cards, or these ace and page cards that come into play, which sort of have a connection to our Two of Wands, they do, endow the card, I think, with some of their qualities on some level, I would say. So the very generosity of spirit that comes from the Queen of Wands, for instance, the very the studious sort of energy of the princess or the page of coins. Yeah, I think those are powerful energies that, I guess, sort of transitively go into our Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands sort of benefits from this. So so in the Two of Wands, the adventure that they choose. So let me just put these cards away for a second. So in the Two of Wands adventure that they are choosing, right? So they will never suffer from a lack of resources, if you will, because you have your Pentacles energy nicely coming in. They will never suffer from a sort of an understanding, a studiousness of the determination and grit necessary with, because the page and the princess will come in with their their strength and their diligence. And then of course they will not suffer from the warmth and the passion and the aggressive sort of flexibility that comes from the queen of wands. So it's all in here. And then we also get the very impulsive angry roughshod vibes coming in from your the Mars energy, and the I'm going to just go after what I want kind of vibe from the Aries energy. So yeah, that's kind of all. We can see that here, little shades of this here and there, but we do see it come together in our Two of Wands cards, Mars and Aries. So, what do you guys think? Let me know. I mean, this could have been, we could have gotten, I suppose I can go a little bit more complex or whatever, but I don't want to. I want to keep it pretty simple and keep it focused on the images here. All right. So, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have more insights to add, because why not? That would be fun. Put your thoughts in the comments below, and let's all learn together. Okay, and I'll be putting my I think some kind of a graphic and a worksheet and whatnot in the description, and the blog post link and whatnot as well. So go check that out if you want to read rather than listen or watch. That's your thing. Do your thing. Okay, I will talk to you soon, I guess, when I do 301 soon. Until then, stay good, be good, and play with your cards. Bye now.